welcome to my channel. I'm Angela from artery.co.uk. Today we're going to be looking at 3D embossing folders. I've done plenty of embossing, but 3D ones are a little bit different. So for instance, they have a lot more definition. They can have different depths within the folder. These are Lisa Horton ones. And with this one, we have a layering stencil to go with it. So that should be interesting. I've never used these before. These are the first time. And we have another Lisa Horton one. Tall daisies, also with layering stencils. But interestingly, this one also has a matching die included. So I've never used anything like this before, I have to admit. So I'm going to give it a go. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my new Gemini Midi embossing machine, because I do have my Big Shot, which is absolutely perfect for larger projects. I have my Craft Buddy, which is perfect for the little dies, little tiny flower dies and things, but I did want something more manageable that would cut something a bit larger. Big Shot is brilliant for A4 projects and things like that, but it's very heavy and it's quite difficult to lift backwards and forwards. So this, I haven't even used this yet either, so apparently you get these folders with it. So I have looked into it, and I don't need the plastic shim unless I'm going to be embossing a non-3D folder, so I'll just be using this one. So the first thing, sorry, just move that out of the way. The first one I'm going to be using is this, the Floribunda background, 5 by 7 inches. So I'm going to have a look at that. So as you can see, it's got different levels, different depths, and it's beautiful. I just love it already, and you can feel the different heights, different depths. It's very, very nice. Normally I would use the same paper that I use for all my videos, just the cheap paper, but I'm going to use something a bit better this time. This is quite thick. It actually doesn't have it on the pack how thick it is, but I don't think it's quite 300 GSM. It could be 250, but it's a nice thick one anyway, and that's not going to fit through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to 5 by 7 so it will match the folder, and then I'm going to put it through. So 5 by 7 is a standard card size, but when you when you're finished, if you want to cut it down even further, of course, that's entirely up to you. I probably trim it a bit further. I just wanted to make sure it fits in. So if you wanted your pattern raised up on a particular side, you would find where the pattern is raised on there, and that's where you place it down so the front of your card was facing up. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well that because it is a 3D embossing folder, sometimes your paper can crack, so just give it the back of it a little bit of a spritz with water, not too much, and then put it through, and that's supposed to help it to stop cracking or breaking. So I'm going to put that in there. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because I will be trimming it up probably if I'm going to make a card from it. So this is the folder for the Gemini Midi. This is the first time I've used it, as I said, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. Hope I don't destroy it on my first go. So I'm assuming you put it through with the closed side forward, and just let it do its thing. Oh, I'm not sure if that's going to go through actually. Seems to be a bit too thick. Oh, right, that's not going to go through. I wonder if I should try putting it through without the folder. Will that work? I don't see how that can work actually. It doesn't feel as though there's any pressure there. I shall soon find out. well, that hasn't really worked because it didn't give enough pressure. So it looks as though that's not going to be too much good on these big 3D embossing folders. I'm going to put it through my Big Shot and see what happens there. Right, this was a tricky one. I'll talk you through what happened. It didn't go through the Gemini in the folder, and yet when I took the folder out, it gave a very weak, I would call it, impression. I then put it through my Big Shot and it gave a much better impression. So then I tried it again with, I'll show you the sandwich that I used in a minute, and it's given an even deeper impression. I think this is how it's actually supposed to look. So it has given a really nice impression there. So the sandwich I used for my Big Shot, if you have one, Big Shot Plus, is the platform, the Plus Adapter A, so Adapter A platform, then the Adapter B platform, then I put in the folder, and then I placed one of the cutting plates on the top. So that's the sandwich I used for this, and it has turned out really well. So I think for my 3D folders, I'm going to have to try and remember that. That's a really good sandwich that gives a really good impression. So I have learned something new there myself. So just ignore all that. I just used a piece of card that I had. It's the same thickness card. I haven't used anything different. So I'm just going to put this away, or else I will lose it. Put that to one side because I can still use that. It's still really nice. Right, now what we have with this are the layering stencils. So let me have a look at these. I haven't even opened this yet, as you can see. Right, and it has these on for some kind of stencil holder, I imagine. I'm wondering if it'll work on my Sizzix stencil platform. Okay, so the first stencil, so it looks as though it goes on there like that. Right, I've taken out a few stamp pads here from Stampin' Up. I have no idea what this is going to turn out like, so right, I'll put that colour to one side. Right. This made me very anxious. This is my first time seriously using layering stencils. I do have some layering stencils, but I did try one or two and they didn't turn out how I thought, so I just went in a big huff and put them away and never really bothered again. But I was determined to give these a go because they weren't cheap, and to be honest, apart from that colour, which I wished I'd never used, they've actually turned out pretty nice. So you can imagine these with different colours, if I can just find the pack that the stencils were in. So this was made with different colours, as you can see. You could probably use any colour you like, obviously, and they've turned out really nicely. So like I say, apart from that really deep green, that's turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I think that's really nice, but I think it would have been nice to have a few different colours in there, reds, pinks and things like that, but that has turned out a lot better than I thought. Because me and layering stencils don't seem to go well together. Sometimes I think it must depend on the quality of the stencils as well, because these are quite thick. The ones that I have, the ones that I bought, are very thin, and it is difficult. Sometimes they get caught, the thin bits that are sticking out, they sort of get caught in the tear. But I'm really pleased with the way that's turned out, to be honest. So I'll put that to one side, and I might make a card out of that, I'm not sure yet. So another thing you can do to colour them, if you haven't any layering stencils, is just get your alcohol markers and just start colouring. Okay, that's not the best, but you get the idea. You can use your alcohol markers, you can use watercolours if you like to colour it in, and maybe if you use watercolour paper, but you don't just have to use inks. You can have maybe a mixed media project going on. You can also, if you wanted, you could also take an ink pad. This is saltwater taffy distress oxide, and you could just gently pull it over. And gets kind of a grungy thing going on there, and I think that looks really nice, and it's such an easy way to colour your 3D embossed paper cardstock. So I think that looks okay as well. There are different ways you can colour them in, especially your 3D. I think that looks really nice. Kind of grungy, shabby chic kind of look. That makes nice cards as well. Right, so this is the one that comes with the die, which I find very interesting. This is also a 3D embossing folder, so I'm going to run that through my Big Shot using the same sandwich, and then I'll be back. Right, so that's been embossed. That's really nice. Now, as usual, you can decide, because when you have the embossing folder with the stencils and especially with the die, it gives you options. So if you wanted, you could leave it like that. That's really pretty. You could colour it using anything that you have in stock, just literally anything that you have that can use to colour. Or you can use the layering stencils, which I'm going to have another go, because I was quite happy with that last one, how that last one turned out. So rightly or wrongly, I'm going to have a go with these stencils. I thought I could save that with a bit of spattering, but no, I think this one's for the recycle bin. It possibly could still be used as a card, but never mind, I've still got the die to try, so I'll give that a go now. Yeah, not great. I would say that is a definite fail. Oh, which is just about typical, but never mind. It's something for the recycle bin anyway, so it won't exactly go to waste. So there we have one which I deem a success because I'm not very good with layering stencils. I did like that one, but like I said, I wished I'd used a different colour green on there, but this turned out a lot better than expected. This one was just no. It was the colours that I used, and I don't think I lined up the stencils correctly. But anyway, it gives you an idea, because like I said, when you have the embossing folder with the stencils and the die, it gives you a lot of options. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to use the stencils. You can colour these anyhow you like, anywhere you like, with whatever you like, in any colour you like. So it does give you a lot of options. You could just leave it white. The daisies actually look really nice, just embossed on plain white card. So that's just an introduction to 3D folders and layering stencils, and my inept use of layering stencils. But never mind, I hope it was helpful to some anyway. I'm going to leave my mistake in, because hopefully it will help others, even if it's just what not to do. I do hope that it helped somebody. Well, I should probably have just stayed in bed today. Nothing has gone right, apart from that which I've already shown you. Made a little card, put some yellow Nouveau drops on that one, which I wished I hadn't, because they don't go. And this one was looking okay. I put Nouveau drops on, and then my son walked in and promptly put something right on top of it. So it's all squashed. All the Nouveau drops are squashed. I can possibly, when they're dry, possibly scrape them off and add some new ones. I don't want to throw this out just yet, but oh, it has literally been one of those days. But anyway, that's just to show you that these layering stencils, embossing folders, they can make nice cards, or nice-ish. One thing I forgot to mention as well is that you don't even have to use the embossing folder if you don't want to. You can just use the layering stencils as they are, so you have a lot of choice. You can use the layering stencils on their own, you can use the embossing folder on its own, you can mix and match everything. You can, if you get one with a die, you can die cut or not. You can emboss and die cut. You can emboss, stencil and die cut. There's just no end really to what you can do. If you do think that you've paid a little bit too much, just think of all the options that you have when you get the embossing folder, the stencil, and particularly the die as well. I'd be interested in your comments, suggestions, advice, tips, anything that you can give me. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye bye now.